So on Friday, I usually bring to you guys my championship score predictions for what I see happening over the next weekend, and I did actually have a video ready to go out, but as I'm sure all you guys are aware, the EFL did release a statement earlier on today, and they have decided to cancel all football fixtures up until the 3rd of April as a result of coronavirus. So what I thought we'd do for today's video is basically just give you guys my reaction to what I've made of the news and how I see things happening going forward, what's going to happen with the rest of this championship season, and in general I'd just like to know your thoughts on it really in the comments down below as well, because it is obviously a massive subject going on in the world at the moment. And as well as that, as we're going to have no football over the next few weeks, I'd also be very keen to know some of your guys' video ideas for what you'd like to see on the channel. Obviously it makes up quite a lot of what we do on the channel here, making score predictions and reviewing the games afterwards, but we're not going to have that for the next few weeks. I mean, the weekend's going to be really bland now, but yeah. So before we do get into any of my reaction, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsors over at OneFootball. You can check out their link in the top line of the description down below. Obviously, as we do have a lot of news going on in the footballing world at the moment, things are changing, you know, week to week, you know. I mean, yesterday the EFL put out a statement saying that all the games will be going ahead. Subsequently this morning, that statement has now been changed, and so to keep up to date with everything that is going on at the moment, OneFootball is a really handy app to have for that. You can read up on all the latest news that is going on and keep in line with everything that's happening at the moment, and hopefully by the 3rd of April we'll have our football back. So the EFL put out a statement this morning saying that all football matches have been postponed up until the 3rd of April, and then, I mean, I guess when we get to that time another decision will be made, but even then, at the moment, that may be looking like wishful thinking to think that we'll have football back immediately. The statement that the EFL put out this morning was actually contrary to the one that they did put out last night, where they actually had originally planned for this weekend's game to go on as normal. You know, people were still going to be able to go to the games, and it looked like things for the time being would continue as normal, but what probably acted to be the catalyst for these things changing was the news that Arteta, the Arsenal manager, had been tested positive for coronavirus. And once it starts spreading like this and players are getting it, managers are getting it, it's just not sustainable going forward, and for the fan safety going into the stadiums as well. Now, a couple of days ago there was a suggestion on social media that the EFL was going to take the decision to play the games behind closed doors, and then fans would get the opportunity to stream the games from their homes. I'm glad that they've not done that. I think that given the situation that they have been put in, I actually do think the EFL have got it right on this occasion. Obviously, it's a nightmare not having football on the weekends. Like, what are we all going to do? But in the grand scheme of things, I think that taking the decision to postpone things for the time being and not play the games behind closed doors, I think is the right decision. I mean, games behind closed doors takes everything away from the football, really. And I mean, even in the Champions League games that we've seen over the last few days that have been playing behind closed doors, it's just not the same, is it? You're not as invested into it. And obviously, I know a lot of people that watch the channel will have season tickets and things like that. That, for me, would have been a mistake, and it looked at one point like the Premier League and EFL may be going down that route, but they decided not to, and they have suspended things. It also begs the question, what's going to happen in terms of the players and their ability to train over this period when the games are suspended? You know, if someone does come down with coronavirus, you know, players throughout the championship have been being tested for it recently. We obviously had the news story of the Nottingham Forest owner who was tested positive for it the other day as well. So this will mean that football will be postponed for the next 3 weekends, which is going to seem like an absolute eternity, but even that is in the best case scenario, and then it's hoped that afterwards we'll just be able to pick things straight back up again and complete things for the rest of the season. Obviously, I'm no health expert, you know, I make videos on YouTube about the championship sitting in my bedroom, but with the way things seem to be going at the moment and judging off other countries and case studies and things like that, I think it probably would be a bit wishful to think that it just would be those 3 weekends that we'll be missing championship football from. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see if there was an extension period after this where games continue to be postponed, judging by how things go over the next couple of weeks. If it was to last until the 3rd of April, then I think there's just about enough time to go ahead and just about sort of keep things to schedule. The EFL would have to put in a couple more midweek matches here and there, but I think they could just about make it work. When you try and push it back a little bit further than that, though, I think that's when things get a little bit tricky. Obviously, we were supposed to be having the Euros this year, but it's not looking likely that that's going to be happening now. So I think that probably what's the most feasible things to happen is that whenever all this is done and sorted, hopefully the season will be able to be concluded sort of over the summer or something like that, maybe, because I've seen a couple of suggestions of people on Twitter and certain journalists saying that this season in the Premier League and the EFL should just be void. That can't happen for me. Like, that's just ridiculous. You know, West Brom and Leeds have comfortably been the best 2 sides in the Championship so far this season, and with only 9 games to go, to say that no, we're going to start again, it just wouldn't make sense at all. And for the teams in the bottom 3 of the Premier League to have that extra chance of survival where they perhaps haven't deserved it or things like that, it just wouldn't make sense at all. This season does need to be concluded. However, I've also seen people on the other side of the coin saying that that we should just leave the season now with the league standings as they are, you know, play the playoffs behind closed doors and things like that. Obviously, for a Preston fan, that may not be a bad shout for us at the moment, but that, once again, I don't think will be right either, especially when you get into relegation battles and things like that, and how much of an influence on their club's finances that can have. I don't think that would be the right way to go either. I think these games do need to be concluded with the fans in the stadium. I think probably the best way to do that is just to wait this out, really. And there will be some clubs out there who will see a few positives in this news, obviously. Teams who have a crippling injury list at the moment will be able to get players back into training now, hopefully build them back up, and then when games finally do start get going again, we may be seeing a couple of sides having some stronger lineups. You know, I'm thinking about sides like Hull at the bottom of the Championship at the moment, who have a lot of players out injured. You know, Brentford will be hoping that Janssen can get himself back over this break. West Brom with Diane Garner as well. So there is a bit of positives in that. Preston with Ben Pearson, he was supposed to be missing the next month with a hamstring injury, but after this postponement of games, he should be back after that. So there is positives to take from it in a different flip of the coin. But I suppose there we have it. That's all the recent information that has come out about this, and that's what I've made of it all, really. So ultimately, I do think they have made the right decision. I didn't want to see games being played behind closed doors. I'm sure a lot of other people share that opinion as well. It's not the greatest of situations, and just in general, I want to know what you guys are going to be doing at the weekend now, because I genuinely don't know what to do with myself when there's no football on. It's like that part of the year when the football season ends and pre-season hasn't started yet. I mean, even then you're in the summer, so you can go on holiday or something like that. Like in this time, what can anyone do at the weekends without football? So for the time being, it's going to be Barnsley sat at the bottom of the Championship with Luton and Charlton making up the rest of the bottom three. At the top, we got Leeds, West Brom, Fulham, Brentford, Forest and Preston making up the top six. And it'll be interesting to see when football does get back underway, how like the momentum has shifted and things like that. You know, after having such a long pause in the season, teams that are currently on a really good run of form and a good bit of momentum, is that going to be really affected by this and things like that as well? So when we do jump back into the league, it is going to be quite interesting. I'm a bit good that it was cancelled this weekend. Obviously, the last football match that I got to see was Preston getting battered by QPR in the second half, losing 3-1. So that's not ideal. I'm sure that like Hull fans and Sheffield Wednesday feel the same about that. And I was quite good that this weekend was cancelled as well, just because we had some absolutely belting matches coming up. I mean, tonight we were supposed to be having Fulham against Brentford. I thought that one was poised to be a real cracker. At the bottom of the Championship, we had Hull going up against Charlton, a massive game at the bottom there. The playoff pitch is so tight at the moment, so it was going to be an interesting weekend, but ultimately it isn't to be. But I think I will leave today's video at that, guys. So thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy, please do leave a like, and in general, just leave your thoughts in the comments down below, because I am interested to hear what everyone has made of this, what they think is the right way to go forward when football does get back underway. I want to get people's opinions on football being played behind closed doors and things like that. But apart from that, like I said, that will now wrap it up, guys. So thank you very much for watching. Over the next few weeks, we may be, I don't know, we'll come up with something. We'll get videos out for sure, but we'll see. Thanks very much for watching today, guys, though. I do always massively appreciate it. Go ahead and subscribe if you do want to keep up to date with everything going on in the Championship at the moment. But like I say, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.